All right, so the next 24 hours are crucial, whether you're invested in the stock market, crypto, or in real estate, because the Federal Reserve is set to have their up-and-coming meeting where they're going to decide what to do with interest rates moving forward, how they're going to combat inflation. And this meeting versus all the meetings we've had in the past, we're expecting something pretty different. So let's talk about it. What we're seeing is that the Federal Reserve meeting is coming up in less than 24 hours. And this is going to have massive impacts on not only crypto, but on the stock market and on real estate. What we're seeing is that in this meeting, we're expected to see 25 basis point rate hike, which is significantly lower than we have seen for the last 5 consecutive meetings. We had 75 basis points for 4 consecutive meetings in a row. Then in December, we saw 50 basis point rate hike. So this is a gradual decrease in these rate hikes, which is a very good sign. That shows us that, inflation has probably already peaked, that the Federal Reserve is not going to be as aggressive with hiking rates, and that is going to help the stock market, crypto, and just mortgage rates in general. So what we're seeing is that is all good, but what we need to keep an eye out for is what Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve specifically say in this meeting, because everyone is expecting us to see a 25 basis point rate hike. If we see anything more than that, expect bad news for markets. It's not going to be good, but that's probably not going to happen. So the thing that we have to keep in mind is going to be what their guidance is moving forward, what they say in particular. So keep an eye out on Jerome Powell, what he says. Does he say that we're already seeing inflation peak, that things are looking much better moving forward? Or is he saying that they still need to be aggressive and steadfast in their fight towards inflation? So keep an eye out on that. But other than that, things are looking much better from the Federal Reserve. We've seen that Philadelphia Fed president, Patrick Harker, says that he thinks there's going to be a 25 basis point rate hike. We see that both Boston Fed and Dallas Fed president, they say that they're expecting lower rate hikes as well. Just all across the board, things are looking better in terms of inflation and in interest rates. Next up is I want to talk about Qmall, because Qmall is a crypto exchange that we've talked about in quite a few videos as of recently. I've been trading a lot on it, and they have a massive announcement coming up on February 1st that I'm going to take advantage of, and you guys should as well. So the announcement is that they're going to be hosting the IEO of Cpatix, and Cpatix is aiming to become the largest cryptocurrency exchange in Latin America. And this is something that is very interesting in my opinion, because the Latin American crypto market has grown tremendously over the last few years. Just the beginning of 2021, the market rose from $68 million to over $650 million. It increased over 10x. And not only this, but Cpatix has grown tremendously by receiving licenses in the Bahamas. After being licensed in the Bahamas, Cpatix now already has many major partnerships with local companies, a solid plan, and an experienced team to make its goals a reality. Qmall is going to be hosting the IEO of an up-and-coming cryptocurrency exchange in Latin America. I think this has some real advantages and some real opportunity. What we could see is that with this IEO, it's going to be on February 1st. This is the grand IEO of the Latin American cryptocurrency exchange called Cpatix. And on Qmall, there's going to be an allocation of $700,000. There's going to be a discount of 15% for the Qmall community. And all you need to do is have a Qmall account and make sure to top up your wallets in advance so you can take part in this. This is an opportunity that's not going to be available very long, and you're not going to be able to find this on any other exchange. Yes, Cpatix will be launching on other exchanges. We'll be having launches there. Like on March 22nd, there will be a pre-sale on Cpatix itself for $2 million. But like I said, the token value will be at a much lower discount, and none of them are going to have this amount of discount, that 15% discount. So hurry up. You should definitely check that out on February 1st. All you really need to do is just register on Qmall Exchange. Make sure you pass the KYC verification. Make sure your account's all set up and secure. Top up your balance of Qmall tokens. You're good to go. Moving on, let's talk about crypto, because there's been a lot of exciting stuff in the crypto market, particularly with what's been going on with Cardano. What we have seen is that Cardano-backed algorithmic stablecoin JED has officially launched And this is something that we've been waiting for over a year now. This is something that many people have been anticipating. And ever since we saw massive collapse of algorithmic stablecoins back in 2022, people have been a bit on edge. But the good news is that things are going off without a hitch for Cardano's algorithmic stablecoin, JED, and people are pretty excited about it. So we've seen Cardano's price react pretty positively to this. We've seen that the entire crypto community has responded positive to this as well. It's only be a matter of time before we see how it actually holds up. Is JED able to withstand fluctuations in the crypto market? Is it able to withstand what everyone says it should be able to? Or are we going to see it have big issues like what we saw with other algorithmic stablecoins? So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I think with the way that this one is structured by being completely over collateralized, I think it should be fine, but let me know your thoughts. Moving on, let's talk about a few issues in the crypto space we have seen as of recently, and massive things that we've had with BlackRock in crypto as well. So Celsius, what we saw is that a new report, about 700-page report, came out, and it shows that Celsius, the crypto lender, which is now bankrupt, their problems have dated back well before 2022. Many people just thought everything that happened in 2022 just came out of nowhere, and that Celsius was doing fine. But according to this examiner's reports, they said that the problem started back in at least 2020 for Celsius when they started using customer assets to fund operational expenses and rewards. And not only this, but Celsius actually failed to report $800 million in losses. And this has been brought up as the CFO was flagged for possibly illegal behavior. There was issues with the CEO using tens of millions of dollars as well. And it's something that has been pretty common in the crypto space, unfortunately. But the good news here is that much of this is coming to light. It's going to help us moving forward, prepare and better analyze which companies to invest in, which companies to put our money on. And while there's nothing we can do about this now, the good news is that moving forward, regulations and new companies are going to have to be a little bit more careful and have to handle customer funds much more carefully moving forward. Last two things I want to go over is going to be with BlackRock and with PayPal. So what we see is that BlackRock recently upped their investment in Silvergate Capital, which is a crypto-focused bank. BlackRock increased their holding in Silvergate to 7.2%, up from 5.9%, according to a recent filing with the SEC. And the important thing here is that Silvergate saw a lot of uncertainty and a lot of fear over the last few months, ever since the whole FTX collapse. We saw that Silvergate tanked more than 40% after news came out that there was a lot of customer withdrawals from the platform, that a lot of people were taking their money elsewhere because they were fearful that Silvergate would potentially collapse like many other platforms did. But the good news here is that we're seeing that Silvergate is now up more than 20% in 2023. They are still down significantly from all-time highs, but seeing that BlackRock has poured in, tens of millions of dollars more into the company, that is a good sign. When you're seeing massive investment banks, massive firms like BlackRock pour money into crypto companies, always a good sign for the entire space and long-term adoption. Last thing let's talk about is going to be what's been going on with PayPal, because what we've seen is that despite good news in terms of interest rates and inflation potentially coming back down, trying to come back down to 2%, we're still seeing that tech companies are having massive layoffs. PayPal announced that they're going to be laying off 2,000 employees in the coming weeks, about 7% of their workforce. And so we've seen recently Amazon layoff employees, Google layoff employees, Microsoft, Salesforce. Almost all major tech companies have laid off thousands of employees in the last few months. So seeing that PayPal is still laying off employees, seeing that tech companies are still rolling out layoffs, that's something just to keep an eye out on, because it shows us that, yes, despite things looking better on a macroeconomic level, we're seeing inflation definitely come down. We're seeing interest rates not being hiked as quickly as they were before. They're still not in the clear yet. We're still seeing that companies are still laying off employees. Money isn't as easily as accessible as it used to be. And we still just need to be a little bit careful moving forward. So let me know your thoughts on the overall market, what's going on. But I hope you enjoyed today's video, and keep an eye out on tomorrow's Federal Reserve meeting with Jerome Powell and what they're going to be doing to combat inflation.